Have you ever wondered if he likes you, but just doesn't say it? You replay the moments. The look he gave you across the room, the way his voice softened when he said your name, or how he remembered that tiny detail you mentioned once. When it comes to understanding attraction, we often look for the big gestures, the flowers, the compliments, the clear and confident declaration of interest. But real attraction, the kind that's authentic and deep, often hides in the smallest, most consistent behaviors. The truth is, subtle behavior speaks louder than words. Words can be rehearsed, but patterns of behavior are instinctive. They reveal what a person really feels, even when they're trying not to show it. Think about it. A person can say all the right things. I like you, you're amazing, we should hang out, but their actions may tell a completely different story. Maybe they disappear for days, avoid emotional connection, or make excuses instead of effort. On the other hand, someone who might never openly declare how they feel could still be showing deep interest through the way they treat you. Their attention, body language, tone, and timing often communicate far more than any confession could. When someone likes you, their focus changes. They start paying attention to details others miss. How you take your coffee, what kind of music lifts your mood, what stresses you out after a long day. They don't do this to impress you. They do it because your world suddenly matters to them. Every small detail becomes meaningful. And what's interesting is that you can usually sense when this attention is genuine. It doesn't feel forced. It feels natural, consistent, and personal. Another layer of subtle behavior is the kind of effort someone puts into being around you. They might not ask you out directly, but they'll find reasons to be near, to join your conversations, to offer help, or to just exist in your space. That's because proximity is a form of unspoken communication. It's a silent way of saying, I feel comfortable here. If someone constantly positions themselves where they can interact with you, even if it's under casual circumstances, it's rarely by accident. Subtle behavior also shows up in the way they mirror you. Psychologists call this behavioral mirroring, and it's one of the most unconscious signs of connection. When someone likes you, they start matching your gestures, tone, or pace of speech without realizing it. It's their brain's way of aligning with yours. For example, if you lean forward while talking, they might do the same. If you laugh, they naturally smile too. This isn't manipulation, it's instinctive resonance, a natural harmony that builds comfort and trust. The strongest signs are not about what they do, but what they stop doing. A person who's usually outgoing might become slightly reserved or fidgety around you because they care about your perception. They're suddenly more aware of themselves, afraid to say the wrong thing or appear uninterested. This nervousness, often mistaken for disinterest, is actually a quiet form of vulnerability. It's their emotions leaking through restraint. But the most powerful indicator of genuine attraction is consistency. Anyone can act interested for a moment, but real interest shows up repeatedly in how they remember your stories, how they check in after a tough day, how they notice changes in your tone or energy. Consistency doesn't need drama. It needs presence. It's not about how much time they have, but how intentional they are with the time they give you. Subtle behavior isn't glamorous. It doesn't always look like passion or pursuit. It looks like kindness, attention, and reliability. But that's exactly why it's so valuable, because it's honest. When you start noticing those small actions, you realize attraction isn't always loud or dramatic. It's quiet, steady, and often hidden beneath layers of shyness, respect, or fear of rejection. And when you can see those hidden signs for what they are, you no longer need someone to tell you how they feel. You can already see it written in every small, meaningful action they take. When someone truly likes you, it's not always about what they say. It's about where their attention goes. You can tell a lot about how a person feels by what they choose to notice. Attention is one of the most revealing forms of attraction because it's something we can't easily fake. When someone's genuinely interested, their focus becomes selective. They don't just hear you, they remember you. The details you think no one noticed suddenly matter to them. They recall how you like your tea, the joke you made last week, or the project you were nervous about. These aren't random memories. They're signs that your presence has a unique place in their mind. Most of us underestimate how much attention reveals emotional investment. We're used to associating attraction with visible gestures, compliments, flirting, or dates. But attention is deeper than that. It shows up when someone listens, even when you're not saying much. It's there when they notice your mood shift, even when you're trying to hide it behind a smile. It's in the way they ask, "Are you okay?" At the exact moment you need to hear it. That's not coincidence. That's awareness born from care. Attention also comes with emotional tuning. When a person likes you, they become sensitive to your emotional rhythm. If you're excited, they mirror that energy. If you're quiet or withdrawn, they adjust. Trying to make you feel at ease, this subtle synchronization shows that they're not just present physically, they're connected mentally and emotionally. That kind of awareness doesn't happen when someone is indifferent. It happens when you've become important enough to influence their internal world. Another clear sign of selective attention is the way they prioritize your presence. Maybe you're in a group and you notice how their eyes find you first when something funny happens. Maybe they address you even when the conversation involves others. Maybe they follow up on a story you told days ago. These moments are small, but they add up. When someone focuses on you in environments where they don't have to, that's when you know their attention is genuine. What's even more interesting is how people disguise this attention. When they're not ready to reveal their feeling, they might downplay their curiosity or pretend not to notice things they clearly do. For instance, he might act casual when you enter the room, but suddenly becomes more alert. His posture shifts or his tone changes slightly. That's subconscious reaction, not strategy. His mind tunes into you automatically, even if his words don't. There's also an element of protective attention. When someone likes you, they care about how others treat you. They might defend you subtly in conversation, step in to help without being asked, or quietly make sure you're comfortable. These gestures don't demand recognition. They're driven by instinct. Real attraction makes people attentive to your comfort and well-being, not just your beauty or charm. Selective attention also means they're emotionally curious about you. They ask questions, not surface-level ones, but questions that help them understand who you are. They want to know what drives you, what frustrates you, what makes you laugh. That curiosity is emotional investment in disguise. When someone listens to your answers with genuine interest, it's a sign they're not just intrigued, they're connecting. Selective attention builds trust. When you feel seen, really seen, by someone, it creates a sense of safety. You realize that you don't have to fight for space in their world. You already have it. That's the hidden power of attention. It makes people feel valued without a single word of validation. When you're trying to figure if someone likes you, don't just look for compliments or confessions. Watch where their focus goes when you're around. Notice if they pay attention to what others miss, if they remember the things that matter to you, if they react to your emotions before you even voice them. Because the truth is, love, or the beginning of it, often reveals itself first. In the quiet, consistent way someone chooses to notice you. One of the clearest yet most overlooked signs that someone likes you is how they position themselves, both physically and emotionally, in your world. Attraction isn't always loud or obvious. It often reveals itself through presence. When a person feels drawn to you, they naturally seek proximity. They find reasons to be near you, to share the same space, to be part of your moments even in small ways. That closeness isn't random, it's intentional, though not always conscious. They might not say, "I want to be around you," but their behavior quietly says it for them. Think about the times someone has lingered just a little longer in conversation or chosen a seat near you when there were plenty of others available. Maybe they suddenly start showing up at events you're part of, or they take an interest in the same activities you enjoy. It's not that they're trying to invade your space. It's that they feel comfortable in it. Humans are naturally drawn toward what they find emotionally rewarding. And when someone likes you, your presence feels like a safe and enjoyable space to be in. Physical proximity, however, is only one side of the equation. Emotional proximity runs even deeper. Someone who likes you will subtly align themselves with your experiences. They'll find ways to connect over shared stories, common struggles, or mutual interests. They don't just want to be near you. They want to feel near you. This emotional closeness might show up in the way they ask about your day, check in after an important meeting, or remember things that matter to you. It's not about constant communication. It's about meaningful connection. What's interesting is that proximity often builds gradually. At first, it might seem like coincidence. You bump into them often. They happen to be around when you need something, or they start joining group settings you're part of. But as the pattern repeats, you realize it's not random. They're investing energy into staying close enough to be part of your world without overstepping. It's a quiet balance between wanting connection and respecting boundaries. That balance is a strong indicator of genuine interest because it's driven by care, not control. Emotional proximity also shows in how they engage with your feelings. Someone who likes you becomes attuned to your emotional signals. If you seem tired, they notice. If you're upset, they ask. If you're happy, they share that joy. This level of awareness isn't casual. It's the product of consistent attention and empathy. When someone is emotionally invested, your state affects theirs. They might not always know how to express it, but they feel it. Both physical and emotional can also reveal itself through subtle acts of support. They might offer help when you're overwhelmed, volunteer for things that make your life easier, or just quietly show up when others don't. These gestures might seem small, but they carry weight. They signal reliability and care, two of the strongest foundations of attraction. When someone likes you, they don't just want to be near you when things are fun. They want to be part of your world when things are difficult too. It's also worth noting that some people express their interest through protective or observant proximity. They might not say much, but they're aware of what's happening around you, who's talking to you, how you're feeling, whether you seem comfortable. That quiet vigilance isn't possessiveness. It's emotional watchfulness. It's the instinct to look out for someone you care about without demanding recognition for it. Genuine proximity isn't about constantly seeking your attention. It's about sharing space with intention. When someone likes you, being around you isn't a strategy, it's a natural response. They feel drawn to you not because they need validation, but because your presence makes them feel connected, inspired, or at peace. When you're wondering if someone likes you, don't just focus on what they say. Notice where they choose to be. Notice how often they appear when you need support, how easily they align themselves with your world, how their energy seems to find yours even in a crowd, because closeness, physical or emotional, rarely happens by chance. It's a silent, steady way of saying, "You matter to me," long before the words ever leave their lips. When someone is interested in you, they don't always come out and say it directly. Instead, they often test the waters subtly, carefully, almost playfully, to see how you'll respond. These small tests aren't manipulative. They're protective. They're a way of exploring emotional compatibility without exposing too much vulnerability. People do this because rejection can feel personal. And before someone puts their heart on the line, they want to sense that it's safe to do so. This quiet form of testing is one of the most fascinating and revealing aspects of attraction. You might notice it in the form of teasing. Playful jokes are often more than humor. They're gentle ways of checking emotional chemistry. When someone teases you, they're observing how you react. Do you laugh? Do you get defensive? Do you flirt back? Teasing allows them to gauge not just your sense of humor, but your comfort level with them. If you respond warmly, it gives them the confidence to move closer emotionally. If you pull back, it signals that they might need to slow down. Another way people test compatibility is by asking subtle, opinion-based questions. Instead of saying, "I like you," they might ask, "What type of person do you usually go for?" Or "Would you ever date someone who's your friend first?" These questions sound casual, but they're strategic. They help the person understand where they might stand in your world, whether they fit your type, your values, your pace. These aren't random curiosities, they're disguised forms of vulnerability. The person wants to know how you see relationships, love, and connection, and whether your answers leave room for them. People also test compatibility through emotional openness. They might share a small piece of something personal, a fear, a memory, a dream, and watch how you respond. Do you listen attentively? Do you reciprocate with your own vulnerability? When you do, it tells them that emotional intimacy is possible. But if you dismiss it or change the subject, it can make them retreat. These small exchanges create a rhythm of emotional trust where both people gradually reveal more of who they are without rushing the process. Sometimes the testing shows up as mild jealousy or curiosity. They might casually ask who you were with or what you did over the weekend, not to control you, but to measure how emotionally available you seem. It's their way of figuring out whether you're already connected to someone else or if they still have space to step closer. The key difference between healthy curiosity and unhealthy possessiveness is tone. When someone truly likes you, their questions come from interest, not insecurity. Testing compatibility can also appear as moments of challenge. They might lightly disagree with you or play devil's advocate to see how you handle conflict or difference. Attraction isn't just about similarities, it's about respect within differences. When someone challenges you, they're not trying to win. They're seeing if you can meet them on an intellectual or emotional level. How you navigate those little disagreements often tells them whether a deeper connection could thrive or crumble. These small tests also reveal one of the most important truths about attraction. It's not always about perfection, but about response. When someone likes you, they're constantly paying attention to how you make them feel, safe, excited, understood, or dismissed. Every subtle question, every playful comment, every emotionally vulnerable moment becomes part of their internal assessment of whether this connection is real. The beautiful part is that these tests, when you recognize them, can deepen the connection. When you respond with authenticity, when you meet vulnerability with kindness, humor with playfulness, curiosity with openness, you send a powerful signal back. It's safe to be real here. And that's what every person who likes someone is ultimately searching for. Not just attraction, but safety within it. The next time someone playfully teases you, asks personal questions, or opens up about something small but meaningful, don't overlook it. Those are not random gestures. They're quiet invitations to connect. It's their way of saying, I'm interested, but I need to know if you are too. And when you start to see those moments for what they are, you'll realize that attraction isn't only expressed through bold confessions. It's often hidden in these gentle, deliberate tests of compatibility, the kind that pave the way for something real. One of the most misunderstood signs of attraction is the balance between confidence and hesitation. Many people expect someone who likes them to be bold, expressive, and obvious in their interest, to make the first move, to flirt openly, to say exactly how they feel. But in reality, attraction can make even the most confident person hesitate. That hesitation doesn't always mean uncertainty or disinterest. Often it's a quiet form of respect, vulnerability, and emotional caution. Understanding this contrast between confidence and hesitation helps you see the deeper emotional truth behind someone's actions. When a person likes you, they might appear confident in some moments, playful, witty, relaxed, and then suddenly become quieter or nervous when things feel more personal. This shift can be confusing. You might wonder, he seems comfortable around everyone else. Why does he act differently with me? The answer is simple. You matter to him. When the stakes are low, it's easy to be casual. But when emotions are involved, people start overthinking every word, every move, every reaction. The more they care about your impression, the more cautious they become. Confidence often shows in small, consistent actions rather than big gestures. When someone likes you, they'll still find ways to stay connected, to check in, to help you, to make time for you. Even if they're hesitant to express their feelings directly, they might not declare their interest outright, but their steady presence reveals it. True confidence in attraction isn't about being loud or assertive. It's about showing up in meaningful ways, even when fear or uncertainty lingers underneath. On the other hand, often comes from vulnerability. It's that moment when a person pauses before sending a message, replays your last conversation in their mind, or hesitates to compliment you too openly because they don't want to seem too forward. They're navigating the space between wanting to express themselves and not wanting to risk rejection or misunderstanding. This kind of hesitation isn't weakness. It's a sign that they're emotionally invested. They're not playing games. They're protecting their feelings while trying to figure out if it's safe to reveal them. Some people also express this mix of confidence and hesitation through body language. They might hold eye contact longer than usual, then quickly look away. They might stand close enough to feel connected, but not so close that it feels intrusive. Their words might sound casual, but their tone softens when they speak to you. These little contradictions, boldness and restraint, interest and uncertainty, often coexist in people who are genuinely drawn to you. It's important to recognize that not everyone shows attraction in the same way. Some people hide their interest behind humor or sarcasm, using playfulness as a shield. Others may come across as aloof or distant because they're afraid of appearing too eager. But underneath those masks, there's often a quiet nervousness that reveals how much they care. When someone fumbles their words, laughs at the wrong moment, or suddenly changes the topic after a compliment, that awkwardness is often the truest sign of affection. The balance between confidence and hesitation also reflects maturity. Someone who genuinely respects you will move carefully, not impulsively. They'll hesitate because they don't want to cross a boundary or make you uncomfortable. They'll wait for signs that you're equally open before revealing their feelings more clearly. This kind of restraint is rooted in emotional intelligence, the understanding that genuine connection grows best when both people feel safe. What's beautiful about this dynamic is that it creates tension, not the kind that frustrates, but the kind that builds anticipation and depth. Confidence shows desire while hesitation shows care. Together, they create the emotional push and pull that makes attraction feel real. When someone shows both, the courage to be present and the humility to hold back, it means their feelings run deeper than simple infatuation. If you notice someone who seems sure of themselves one moment and uncertain the next, don't dismiss it as confusion. Look closer. You might be seeing the natural struggle between wanting to move forward and fearing what could be lost if they do. That mix of confidence and hesitation is often the truest indicator of genuine interest, because it shows they're not just attracted to you, they value what's between you. And that kind of care, even when quiet, is far more meaningful than the loudest declaration of love. At the end of it all, the truth about attraction is simple, yet so often overlooked. It's rarely spoken, it's shown. The hidden signs that someone likes you are not found in the grand gestures or the perfect words, but in the quiet consistency of how they show up. It's in the small ways they listen, the subtle ways they move closer, the moments they test the connection, and the pauses between their confidence and hesitation. When you start paying attention to these patterns, you realize that attraction isn't a mystery to solve. It's a language to learn. Every look, every laugh, every thoughtful action is a sentence in that language. Some people speak it boldly, others whisper it gently, but the message is the same. You matter to them. The beauty of these hidden signs is that they reveal more than surface-level interest. They show emotional depth, care, and genuine curiosity. Someone who truly likes you doesn't just want your attention. They want your understanding, your presence, and your trust. That's why their actions, no matter how subtle, feel different. They carry weight, meaning, and sincerity. So instead of searching for words of confirmation, learn to trust what you see. Notice who listens when you speak, who remembers the small things, who respects your boundaries while still finding ways to be close. Notice who makes you feel seen, even without saying much at all, because love, or the beginning of it, doesn't always arrive with fireworks. Sometimes it walks quietly beside you, disguised as kindness, attention, and care. And when you can recognize those hidden signs for what they are, you no longer wait for someone to tell you how they feel. You already know, because their actions have been saying it all along.